the Bitcoin community?
Well, look, man, I think something like 3% of all Bitcoin holders claimed their free hex, literally provably on chain. Second, regarding miners rolling back the hack transaction, all you have to do is cut the miners in on the fraud. So if you give the miners 5 or 10%, you get to keep all of it. They're not going to roll it back on you. Third, I think it's funny that guys that have had 2 mint as many as you want bugs and a long list of other critical vulnerabilities, I might add, whereas Ethereum has had none. And like, you have no anonymity in Bitcoin, you have anonymity in Ethereum. You have slow transactions in Bitcoin, you have fast transactions in Ethereum. You have NFTs,
wrong.
and it's like,
these are not true.
no,
They're
tell me,
wrong.
educate me, I'm listening. Tell me you're going to tell me more than it's just wrong. Like, tell me.
It's essential. Ethereum is a centralized security. Like, the vulnerability is the project itself. Like, you're at
Shane,
risk
your audio is super low, bro. Can you speak like closer to the mic? Because I don't think the audience can hear you.
I actually hear him okay.
Yeah, see,
Doug.
we can hear you.
You used to be able to get 2,000 Ethereum for 1 Bitcoin. Now you can get like 500 maybe, or 50 or something.
Okay,
I don't know, dude. Seems like Ethereum did pretty good.
Sir. Like, your strategy of arguing is so interesting. Like, it's so frustratingly false and misleading.
Yeah, but use your words, buddy. Use your words. You got the mic. Tell me. Give me details so I can crush you.
I can give you the details. I think Ethereum has had a lot more chain splits, which are a critical consensus problem, than Bitcoin. But you can go look it up and let's dive into it. So why is Ethereum having more chain splits than Bitcoin?
Usually because they did the stupid thing of multiple clients, which I don't actually like.
Ethereum has proved that if there is a big exploit and you actually steal a bunch of Ethereum, the centralized Ethereum Foundation will just roll it back.
False, because Polkadot proved that's not true. That used to be true years ago, but Polkadot lost 150 million worth and no one bailed him out. And the guy that founded that project wrote Solidity. The guy that founded that project wrote the Ethereum software itself. So if they were going to ever bail anyone out ever again, they would have bailed out
What's
the
the
Polkadot.
market? What's the market cap of Ethereum?
It's usually, I think, like a third of Bitcoin.
Which is what?
Well, I mean, I don't know, 250 billion maybe?
Right. So what's 150 million? It's nothing.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. The guy founded it, right? He's an insider. It'd be easy to just do the same thing they did last time, but I don't think they're going to do it.
He was an insider, but then he quit to print his own money, like every other insider of Ethereum except Vitalik.
I just don't think they can roll back the chain, bro. I think it's too wide now. I think there's too many people.
But I think rolling back the chain is a separate issue, right? The discussion here was that which code base is more complex and can have more
you're
bugs.
totally wrong about that. It takes 9 months to on-ramp a new Bitcoin Core developer as per the Bitcoin Core guys themselves, which means it's extremely complex code, and you just don't know what you're talking about.
It's because you have to make sure you don't do something stupid. So you want to learn the whole code base. Like in Ethereum, you can just go and start programming right now. No one cares.
No, I think maybe
there's one guy on this call who actually knows about software, and it's me. So I don't know why you trader guys think you know so much. You don't.
So go ahead,
Vitalik himself admits that Ethereum base layer and code base is more complex than Bitcoin, but Richard here knows.
Hey, how much Bitcoin Consensus has a $250,000 bug bounty program for Ethereum? How much is the Bitcoin Core bug bounty program?
Well, Bitcoin. Where's the money? Okay, Richard. Where is the money? Where is the money coming from? Right. It's great when you have people printing their own money, like yourself, have all this money to pay other people.
Chain Code Labs could pay it. They pay all the devs already.
Where do they get the money?
Chain Code Labs is doing all your dev for free already anyway. They could also have a bug bounty program. Why don't you crowdfund it? You could get 250K, dude. Go do it. Make Bitcoin better.
All right. Are people noticing that Richard switches topic every time he's wrong on something? Like he first tried.
You mean every time I'm right?
He first tried saying that Bitcoin can have more bugs, and when I started talking about chain splits, he forgot about it. Started talking about something else, right? Then
how is talking about a bug bounty program not relevant to bugs?
Then we were talking about like, hey, is Ethereum code more complex? I brought up that Vitalik himself admits that Ethereum code is more complex, right? He didn't answer that. He started talking about something else.
I think Ethereum's code is more complex, but that doesn't make it less secure. It just makes it a different failure mode. Not all complexity leads to the same type of failure. Listen,
more
not
complex and
all
more
types of
secure.
not all types of complexity lead to the same form of failure. You could say that Hex is more complicated than Ethereum because it's built on top of Ethereum, but that complication makes it less likely to have an inflation bug.
Okay,
So
Hex is
not
worth
all
That
4
makes
complexity
cents.
that
is
Like,
makes
nobody gives a
anti-security.
shit about Hex.
How
Like,
can that be a true
sense.
statement? That makes no sense at all.
Zero
Bro,
sense
it's
to
like
an
putting a
engineer.
safe in a safe.
Zero sense to an engineer. It makes zero sense to an engineer. It's basically this type of language only speaks to people who don't understand code and computer science.
Just
It's
just
basically
relax. I'm going to explain it to you in a way you understand, okay? If you have a safe and you put another safe inside it, that's more secure, right?
and this is logic for
Two
morons.
safes
This
is
is
more secure than
literally
one safe, right? So when you take a part of the code that's really important to you and you make it isolated and locked so that no one can ever edit it, it's more
That is a
secure.
lie. That is impossible to do. Well,
No, it's not. That's by definition
basically,
what a smart contract without admin keys is.
no one believes you that you don't have admin keys to everything in Hex. No one in the world believes you except people that only listen to your bullshit on it.
I would add this also isn't about Hex. Hex is worth 4 cents. No one gives a
Guys,
fuck about
every
Hex. I don't
ERC20
want to
without
be
admin
here.
keys has the same security property. It has nothing to do with Hex. It just happens to be that if you take your consensus code and lock it in a smart contract and it doesn't have admin keys, then it is more secure than Ethereum itself from an inflation bug perspective. And it is more secure than Bitcoin itself from an inflation bug perspective because both Bitcoin and Ethereum do not have their consensus code for counting how many coins exist locked and isolated, which, by the way, is why it's so hard to actually figure out what the Ethereum supply is.
Sorry,
You have to
we're
run
taking
actual
one
code.
point here,
let me,
Richard. Bitcoin,
let-
which is secure through decentralization, something that Hex and Ethereum both lack.
That
here-
decentralization secures you from 51% attacks. It does not secure you from bugs, which is the majority of the consensus failures in proof of work networks. They're bugs, which is why if you cared about security, you would have a bug bounty program and pay auditors like I pay auditors. I've spent more money on auditors for my code than Bitcoin
That's
spent
because
for
you're
their code.
printing money.
Yeah, you've also rugged more people than anyone.
Yeah, I'm up 250x versus Bitcoin from January 5th of 2020. SMD, please.
Your coin
And that's
is
after
4
a fucking
cents.
huge
This
dip.
isn't about Hex. This debate is not about Hex. We're not here to
I don't
talk
care about
Hex.
Hex, but
You're
you
not here
guys
to
need to
promote
understand
Hex.
computer security. Better and worse exists, and you're advocating for worse.
Okay,
As though
let
it's
me
admirable.
let me back up here. Richard is trying to make a claim that Bitcoin's biggest problem is inflation bugs in the code. For me, this is not a concern at all, because if there is one of these bugs that is exploited, which is very unlikely, my node would reject those coins. And this is why it's important to run your own node, something you can't actually do on Ethereum or anything built on top of Ethereum. So if Richard's code has an inflation bug, which he claims it can't, but Munib, the computer science PhD, and myself, who have a background in computer science, I have a financial engineering degree, and I did code on Wall Street, we're saying that he can still have an inflation bug. That's a computer science debate. But if he was to have some kind of a code failure, there are no nodes to reject it. He runs the only node. So he can either roll back the chain or there's anybody can do about it. So either his system is actually decentralized in a way that it dies the moment there is a bug, or his system is not decentralized at all and he can save it. In Bitcoin,
Guys, haven't you noticed that ERC20s are like extremely reliable? Like barely anyone ever has problems with bog standard ERC20s because they work really good.
There's a reason for that. That's because Ethereum turned off Turing completeness after the DAO hack.
No, they didn't. What are you talking about? You still have Turing complexity. It's an EVM. It's a virtual machine. You can do add, subtract, divide, multiply. You can do whatever you want.
Congratulations. You can do 5th grade math.
No, but you can do options. You can do time deposits. You can do peer-to-peer trading with no middlemen, which Bitcoin can't. You can do stable coins. You can do algorithmic stable coins, which usually
Bitcoin
get
can
wrecked.
run a node, which is the only thing that matters in a blockchain, is whether you can run a node. I can reject coins from an inflation bug.
No, but you never will, and that's not true because you run the code that the core devs give you, and you don't compile it yourself, and you don't verify that it doesn't send your keys off to them, and you wouldn't know where to look for that underhanded C++ code if they put it in there, which is why you can look up underhanded C as a contest where people compete to inject malicious bugs into otherwise very clean-looking C code, and very, very hard is it to get up to speed with C++, which is what Bitcoin Core runs. The Bitcoin DEXE is C++ code. You're going to do by default whatever the dev shoved down your throat because you as a non-dev don't have a choice. Your node is never going to do anything different from anyone else's node ever.
Richard is making the... Yeah, okay, one last point. I'll give you the floor. Richard is making the claim that the most open code base with some of the most honest, articulate developers that have been super public about everything, that have a history of coding projects to protect people's privacy and like basically have very anti-government, tyrannical mental views on that whole situation. That this group of developers is somehow more malicious than one or two developers you've never even heard of, who you don't even know their names, in all these other crypto projects, who may or may not be working for the government, who may or may not have been infiltrated to the government, who are coding like, and no one is even checking their shit. He's saying that those developers are to be trusted more than the group of Bitcoin Core. Good luck with that argument.
I don't think the Bitcoin guys are malicious at all. I don't think they're malicious at all. I think it's just spaghetti code and hard to work with. C++ is hard to work with. Bitcoin's hard to work with. That's why it takes 9 months before you can even start to make your first commit at Blockstream. Go watch the interviews. I don't understand you guys. You say Bitcoin's simple, and then I prove it's not, and you get mad. I say bug bounty programs are good, and Ethereum has one, and then you're just like, centralized. No, just go raise some money and have a fucking bounty program.
Richard, you're also talking about how easy it is to stick a bug into Bitcoin, and then you're talking about how hard it is to add code into Bitcoin.
It's very hard to not stick a bug. You just said it yourself using your own words that it takes a long time to on-ramp a new dev because you want to make sure he doesn't screw something up. You and I agree with this. You and I agree with software is hard and that you should have really smart people doing it. And you gave a weird straw man where you accused me of accusing the devs of being evil. I don't think they're evil at all. I think everyone that writes open source software is a very nice person. They could go make more money in the private sector. I think open source devs are amazing. You know who's still writing open source software? Vitalik. Me. Satoshi's not, and half the Bitcoin Core devs are leaving. Like Peter Boulay just dropped his access. Gavin left. I mean, they're leaving left and right. It's a tragedy of the commons. Like you guys are, the reason you'll, like, where's the anonymity in Bitcoin? And you want anonymity and I want anonymity and we agree on this point, and it'd be great if they actually added it. Where is it? It's been 13 years. The roadmap is pitiful, man. And you're going to say, next thing you're going to say is, that makes Bitcoin better. It makes Bitcoin better that it can't make, there you go. I beat you to it. It's better that Bitcoin can't add anything because it makes it more secure, even though it has a giant list of critical vulnerabilities.
What makes Bitcoin secure is the fact that you can't just add random shit. All right, Munib, go for it.